After the retreat of the Russian army to the left bank of the Dnipro River, as experts suggest, the armed forces of Ukraine will continue to fire on the enemy. Due to the peculiarities of the terrain, the steppe and low building density, it will be difficult for the army of the Federation to disguise equipment and positions of manpower. The weather also helps. The lack of greenery on the trees simplifies the work of the Ukrainian army.
I see the most logical thing now is to force the Russians, let's say, to run away, move away. Sorry for the jargon, get away from the Dnipro River as deep as possible. Because our military who are now taking stand on the right bank of Kherson, the whole Kherson, they will push back with their fire, drive the Russians away from the banks of the Dnipro, so that the Russians do not do the same thing with Kherson that they did with Kharkiv for a long time. Shelling it using the barrel artillery, multiple launch rocket systems, just fire, not some targets, but just randomly fire. That is, we will drive away as much as possible.
The strategic victories of the Ukrainian army are also noted by foreign military analysts. Britain is confident that even on the eve of winter and worsening weather conditions, the armed forces of Ukraine have time to further demoralize the Russian army and smash part of the enemy's military equipment.
They've also achieved significant military objectives. Yes, the taking back of Kherson city, but also pretty significant victories in the east. And critically, that has put their ranged weapon systems, principally HIMARS, in range of a significant amount of Ukrainian territory that Russia currently holds. So when the weather gets worse, which is around now, and fighting largely goes static, they'll still continue to fight, but there won't be big changes on the map in the next 2 to 3 months. It means that the Ukrainians still have the capabilities to degrade Russian forces over those months, preparing for another offensive, which will start probably in February, March next year.
Also, the deoccupation of Kherson opens up a springboard for the armed forces of Ukraine to shell the Russian rear in the Zaporizhia direction, experts say.
Why do I see the Kherson region as a priority? Because even now we can cut from these positions. That is, you can open a map, draw a conditional line in Google from our positions to the occupied Republic of Crimea, where ammunition, fuel, manpower, Russian equipment come from. That is, we can already cut these communications. That is, it is clear that we can hit not 100%, but some large echelons with fuel. We can hit large echelons with equipment. We can hit echelons with manpower. That is the entire Russian group, which is located in Mariupol, which is located near Enerhodar Zaporizhia region. It also supports from Crimea.
According to the Ukrainian and foreign experts, it is too early to talk about the complete deoccupation of the Donetsk and Luhansk regions in the coming months. At the same time, the Russian army is likely to continue massive shelling of peaceful Ukrainian cities and critical infrastructure, the British Royal Institute of United Services says.
Another impact of targeting Ukraine's energy infrastructure is to make it more financially dependent on the West, which is likely to coincide with wider energy scarcity in Europe and economic trouble for Ukraine's international partners. This will be accompanied by an informational campaign by the Russians to try to convince Western publics to spend money at home rather than spending it abroad. In reality, both Ukraine and Europe are being targeted via the same pressure points. From material on the website of the Royal United Services Institute.
According to American analysts, the map of military operations will not change significantly until February. This is due to difficult weather conditions for a counteroffensive in winter. By that time, the United States believes both sides will have time to prepare for a new phase of the war. Reported by Serhiy Kulas, Larisa Zubenko, UATV News.